Thank you everyone for joining us today. So today we're going to be going over getting started with Microsoft Power BI, that artificial intelligence. So I'll be the presenter for today. My name is Carmelo. I'm a training associate here at Microsoft. I'm also joined by Alex, who's also a training associate, who's going to be helping me moderate that Q&A/chat area, and also letting me know if somebody has their hand raised. Getting started with artificial intelligence in Power BI. So you'll be able to, hopefully by the end of this session, you'll be able to learn how Power BI is better together when used in combination with Microsoft's Power Platform. We'll be able to introduce the artificial intelligence capabilities found throughout Power BI, connect to a sample report, and discover new insights using artificial intelligence visuals, and create a report page using the drag and drop / no code artificial intelligence visuals. All right, so now more than ever, organizations have embraced the value of using data to drive business outcomes and to harness the signals coming from a multitude of sources such as web traffic, social media, and business systems such as CRM and ERP applications. So once they implemented their infrastructure for storing all this information, how can they begin to make this data work for them most efficiently? They need a layer atop of this information that lets all workers, regardless of technical ability, to leverage these sources. And it is in a straightforward way that we can drive business impact. So we recognize that there aren't enough programmers, data scientists, and technical professionals to go around. So our goal was to build a platform empowering technology experts and the millions of other frontline workers who see opportunities every day to create and improve existing processes. And that's what we call the Power Platform. So the Power Platform enables users to analyze their data, to create actionable insights with Power BI, to act on their intelligence with Power Apps, and to automate repetitive business processes with Power Automate, and assist users with intelligent virtual assistants with Power Virtual Agents. So Power BI enables everyone at every level within your organization to find and share meaningful insights on the web and on the go with mobile reporting, with hundreds of data visualizations built in no-code AI capabilities. That's what we're going to learn about a little bit more today. You also will have rich integrations across Excel and Microsoft Teams. So Power BI empowers teams to discover insights hidden within their data. Then we also have something called Power Apps, which helps us to provide a low-code way to rapidly build apps for mobile devices and your web. And you can instantly increase agility across your organizations by rapidly building no-code apps that modernize processes and solve tough challenges. All right, so creating is easy and intuitive, and it also empowers you to be able to use the artificial capabilities inside of Power BI. So data scientists can connect to Azure machine learning models or write Python and R scripts and distribute advanced insights to users throughout the organization. Business analysis can create their own machine learning models without writing a single line of code, using automated machine learning, predict future outcomes with built-in forecasting, and perform sentiment and key phrase extraction by simply selecting the columns in their data. And end users can interact with their data simply by asking a question and automatically detecting insights through the highly interactive visual experiences. So all of these artificial capabilities are available today in Power BI and require little to no code, empowering all the users of Power BI to discover hidden, actionable insights in their data to drive business outcomes using artificial intelligence. And with comprehensive sets of AI capabilities, Power BI helps our customers analyze their structured and unstructured data, build automated machine learning models in the click of a button, gain insights by simply asking questions, and automatically detect patterns in their data through highly interactive visual experiences, which we're going to go ahead and introduce right now. Today, we're going to go ahead and start by bringing in the experiences of Power BI directly into Teams. So the first thing we can do is go ahead and find our Teams application. I'm going to use the desktop application for this particular demonstration. I already have it pinned here to my taskbar, so all I have to do is click on that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Let's go ahead and go into that apps one. All right, awesome. Then you'll be able to see where it says add. So once you go ahead and click on to add, is going to essentially add the Power BI application right here inside of Teams. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and do a right click, and you'll be able to see that you can pin this application here to your taskbar here on the left-hand rail. I just also want to point out that you can move these around and place these in a particular order that you want it at. So if for whatever reason, if you find yourself using Power BI quite frequently, you can go ahead and add it all the way to the top. All right, so the next part that we can do, since we already have this app available for us right here, if you want to follow along with us today, you can go ahead and click onto where it says Learn. From here, we're actually going to be utilizing this artificial intelligence sample report. So if you click onto that, it should load this report up for you right here inside of Teams. And again, you can follow along with what I'm doing today. For today's demonstration purposes, I'm actually going to use the web browser version of Power BI. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my web browser really quickly. It automatically takes me to my Office homepage. I'm going to go ahead and click onto that little waffle icon, which is my app launcher, and search for Power BI. If for whatever reason you don't see that there, you can go ahead and click on where it says All Apps. This list here is in alphabetical order. So all you got to do is scroll down to where the P's are, and you'll be able to find Power BI from there. In this particular case, since I'm using the web browser, I have to go to where it says Learn and click on where it says Artificial Intelligence Sample. So hopefully you should already have it up within Teams, so you'll be able to follow along with me. So now that I have this up, one of the first things that we want to go ahead and explore is going to be these different pages. So the first page that we're already in is called the Key Influencers page. Here, we'll be able to analyze the impact of different categories and products to understand what are our top contributors for wins and losses, so that we can begin to make more informed decisions about using our data. So the first part, we'll start by reviewing the top contributors that resulted in a status of 1. So within the left-hand side of the key influencer visual, it displays that our top contributor, when the discount goes up to 2%, where we are 2.7 times more likely to win, as you can see from right here. This is already chosen, but if it's not chosen already, it's going to kind of look like one of these here at the bottom, where you can actually click onto these different key influencer topics here. And you can see that every time I click onto it, the information in this table here on the right-hand side changes. Based upon what we selected with that bubble, the correlation between the discount and the percent status is 1 with a positive trend slope for our results. So we can see at the top of this scatter chart here that it gives us a summary of what the information is. So it says on average, when discounts increase, the likelihood of the status being 1 increases. So if we want additional information like sample size, we can hover over the bubble to generate additional summaries, with the last line displaying that this information here, or the influencer, contains approximately 65.13% of the data. So we often want to explore our data by interacting with slicers, filters, and other visuals to gain new insights. So with the key influencer visual, every time that we make a selection, it returns its analysis based on our updated choices. Let's try this by exploring our top influencers to understand when the product category is furniture. So who are our largest contributors from that? So we can actually choose the different types right here. So if we actually click onto that, we'll be able to see some more information, and our visualizations here change. And we can also see that the sales owner is Molly Clark. Whenever it's Molly Clark, this means that the likelihood of the status being 1 increases by 1.5 times. All right, so to view more detailed insights, we once again can select that bubble to the right, which is already selected for us, and then we'll be able to see this column chart appear. And this column chart is displaying and comparing all the sales owners in our data set. So to compare only those individuals that were found to be key contributors, we can select the checkbox to only show the values that are influencers, where the names of all those who often influence our likelihood of winning are now displayed. So we can go right here to the very bottom and show right here where it says only show values that are influencers. All right, so now that we know who some of our top performers are, let's answer the question, who contributed more frequently to our losses? So from the dropdown at the top, we can select the lost option to return our analysis. So if we go right up here, we'll be able to see we can change this from 1 to lost. And then now we can see that the largest contributor when the manager is Ann Weller, the likelihood is going to result in a lost deal is 4 times higher. So to compare individual cell owners, once again, we can scroll through our list where we found that when the cell owner is Alan, right here, that we are 2.42 times more likely to result in a lost furniture deal. And if we wanted to view all of that information, we can go ahead and uncheck this again, and we can see some more information right here. So again, at the top, it tells us that information, what this visualization is displaying. So it just says that the status is more likely to be lost when the manager is Ann than otherwise on average. So essentially, the average is going to be right here. And then Ann is obviously way above that average. All right, so understanding how different combinations of values can contribute to our results is equally important as we add more and more data to our analysis. So let's try to dive into these combinations by selecting top segments option, where several segments have been detected and ranked by the percent status is lost. So we can go ahead and click to where it says top segments. And now we'll be able to see here that if we analyze the segment 1 combination, this occurs 81.6% of the time. And this is, of course, with respect to the furniture category that we have chosen. So we can see here in segment 1. All right, so within segment 1, we know that this is going to be a combination of when the manager and Wheeler and the sales owner is not Alicia Thromber. So if we go ahead and click onto that, we'll be able to see some more information there. So we can see that whenever the manager is Ann, this means that it's going to be 81.6% a likely status of being lost if we are inside of that sales area. And then also if the sales owner is not Alicia Thromber. So we'll be able to know that essentially if it's anyone other than Ann and Alicia, then we might have a better chance of winning more sales opportunities. We can also see that there's 53% points higher than the average. And it gives us that information right here. So this is 53% higher than the average. The average of the overall group of sellers is going to be 28.8% lost. And just as a FYI, from this combination alone, it's containing 267 points of data, or about 10.5% of the overall data, which represents a significant impact overall and an area that we probably want to focus on to create more winning opportunities. So if we select the text, learn more about this segment, we can gain even more insights about this information. So before we go ahead and proceed to our next page, we also want to highlight that the key influencer visual is a great choice for when we need to analyze our data, rank the factors that matter the most to us, and have top influencers displayed to best inform our decision making. And also as an FYI, whenever you click on learn more about this data, you'll be able to see some more information here. And you can keep scrolling and you'll be able to see other points that are that Power BI, that artificial intelligence may deem as being something important to create these different visualizations here. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and navigate to this decomposition tree area. This is going to be the next page of our report, where we're going to conduct some root causes and ad hoc analysis to understand the impact of sales opportunities across different columns within our data. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this next section. So before we start, we want to highlight a key feature, which are going to be the light bulbs that are at the top of our decomposition tree visual. This is going to indicate that a split has occurred. So these are artificial intelligence splits that help us to identify the highest or lowest values in our data automatically. And we can also change paths as we interact and explore with the information throughout our page. So you'll be able to see here, and I'll go ahead and zoom in for us really quickly. We have these little light bulbs right here at the very top. So we can see one light bulb here next to the category, right here at the right side of the category, as well as here at the right side of the product. All right, so to determine our current split, we can hover over or above the light bulb next to our columns to display the current split text. Using region as an example, if we go ahead and we hover over this area, we'll be able to see that it says that sales opportunity is highest when the region is in North America. So it's possible to mix up our split levels, going from high values to low values and back to high values again. So now that we're ready to start exploring our data, we want to understand what is our largest revenue breakdown for sales opportunity. To do this, we're going to go ahead and start by selecting the computers category. So right now you can see that our category is currently inside of software, but we want to change this to where it says computers. In order to do that, we can go ahead and click right here underneath this category section where it says computers. So once we click on that, you'll be able to see that the visualization has changed and Power BI has automatically reran our analysis and determined that our highest revenue opportunities are in North America region within the tablets area as a product. So you can see that whenever we go ahead and we click onto any one of these different categories, this information is going to change. So for example, if we go ahead and click on furniture, you'll see here now that again, the region with the highest sales is inside of that North America region. And the things that they sell the most are going to be these stand-up desks. Let's go ahead and click back onto our computers area really quick. All right, so we can actually add more columns to our analysis. And all we have to do is select this plus button. So we can go ahead and select that. And then maybe we want to go ahead and choose something like sales owner. All right, so here we're going to see that Molly Clark has the highest amount of sales opportunity when following our columns at the top of the page. Of course, now we can see that the category is computers, region is North America, and product is tablets. So since we've added our own columns to the AI split, the information that we have with those light bulbs have now disappeared and they've been disabled, right? So whenever we're performing an ad hoc analysis though, it's often in response to specific questions or an event that we want to answer. And so for today, we're gonna do just that. So let's say, for example, if we've launched a new online campaign for ergonomic furniture, and we need help understanding which furniture, geographical area, and sales owner have the highest sales opportunity. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start by removing the current columns at the top of our decomposition tree by selecting the X's. So let's go ahead and remove these. And I'm going to go ahead and just clear out the region, product, and sales owner categories. And for right now, we want to focus on our online opportunities. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to select online from our sales opportunity campaign type. So I'm going to go ahead and choose online. So now we can see that our tree has instantly been updated based on our new selection, only to display the 328K in our online product opportunities. All right, so within our visualization, we're going to go ahead and leverage those AI splits to find the optimal breakdown, all using this no-code artificial intelligence. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and click onto that plus button symbol right next to this category area. So we can go ahead and choose any one of these categories. Let's say we want to go ahead and choose this furniture one. And I want to go ahead and choose the high value. All right. So now we can see that when we choose high value, it's given us North America for a region. And then I want to go ahead and choose the high value again for that North America region. And we can see that for product, we get our stand-up desks. Next, if I go ahead and I click on the plus button one more time and choose high value, we're going to go ahead and see territory now. And for here, we can see that the US South territory is the one that has the highest sales right now currently with those stand-up desks. Then one last time, let's go ahead and choose that plus button again for US South. And we're going to go ahead and choose high value. And now you can kind of see that my information kind of gets cut off a little bit. But if we actually go ahead and click onto any one of these blank areas, we can actually move this around. So we can see here that we have our sales owner category now added, and we have David So with the highest amount of sales in that South region. So we can add more and more columns to our analysis. If we ever need to look back on our path, we can go ahead and click anywhere within those blanks as stated before, and we can go ahead and move this visualization around to see all of that information. Also, if you click right here at the very top, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in for us, you'll be able to see that there's that little square box with the arrow pointing up towards the right hand corner. This is called focus mode. So if we actually want to, we can kind of open up this whole visualization inside of a full screen mode with only that visualization. Now, if we had more and more information and this tree continues to grow, we still will be able to kind of go ahead and click anywhere outside of that visual and drag this around and kind of place it to where we need it to be for the information that we're seeing. All right, so now we can answer our question without really needing specialized personnel or data scientist skill sets, responding with the path that when David So sells stand-up desk in the South North America category, this is going to represent our highest area of sales opportunity for furniture in our marketing campaign. All right, so when we're done reviewing, we can go ahead and get out of focus mode. All we have to do is click to where it says back to report. All right, so because we've unlocked an interesting insight that we'd like to return to easily, we can actually create a view of this page by using a personal bookmark. So if you go up here to the top, you're going to see this little ribbon right here that says bookmarks. When you hover over it, and you can click onto that drop down and click to where it says add a personal bookmark. All right, so for this one, we're going to go ahead and name this one furniture breakdown. Now we can check on this box where it says make this a default view. And then we can hit save. So now whenever we go back into this report, it's going to instantly display the page settings and filters that we're most interested in using. We can also go ahead and revert this back to the default option, or reset it back to the default option to return the page back to its preset. And if need be, if we don't need this anymore, we can click onto that ellipses and we can go ahead and delete this. We can rename it, clear the default, or update it if any information or data has been updated recently. We're going to go ahead and end this page by highlighting that the decomposition tree visual is a great option for performing root cause analysis and answering those questions of how individual items contribute to the whole ranking of our data in highs and lows. So for the next one, we're going to go ahead and navigate to our last page here, which is this anomaly detection page. All right, so from here, we're going to go ahead and combine several artificial intelligence capabilities to detect anomalies in our results, to generate dynamic text summaries, and use our own natural language to ask questions to get answers from our data. All right, so before we begin, you may have noticed, if this is the first time that you came onto this visualization, that you get a pop-up, and then the pop-up is going to allow for you to see insights. Now, if you don't see that pop-up, that's okay. We'll be able to go right here to the top where it says insights as well. And if we go ahead and click onto that, it should pop up right here on the right-hand side. I already have it showing. So it's going to show me this revenue summary with all of these insights right here automatically showing for me. Now, again, it should pop up for you automatically. If it doesn't, then maybe we'll have to refresh the page a little bit there and see if it pops up for us and it shows us those insights. But it's already selected for me, so it's going to show all of that information that I'm looking for. So the way that I did that, I'm going to go ahead and close out really quick. It wasn't showing up for me for whatever reason, so I went here to where it says more options under that revenue one by year each month, and I chose get insights. All right, so now from here, again, we'll be able to see our top insights. So if there are any, if not, we can go ahead and select all, and we're going to be able to see all of our different trends here. So we can see that we have an upward trend in revenue one. And then we can see that in the description, it tells us that the revenue one started trending up on July 2020 and raising by 9.27% in 5 months. And then we also get some possible explanations with the first being for product category. So we can also click on that, and then we'll be able to see these possible explanations. You should be able to see that it says product category, where the computers and furniture had the most significant increase, with a visual below showing the differences in July and December. So to explore more explanations of our insights, we can go ahead and scroll down. But for now, let's go ahead and just collapse this pane. I'm going to go ahead and click on those double arrows right there to collapse that pane for me. I'm going to click anywhere outside of the page here, the visualization, to kind of get back into all of that information there. We're going to go ahead and revisit the insights again in a little bit. All right, but back here on the report page, let's analyze our data to better understand why the sharp decline in software revenue for Spencer Lowe. So we have Spencer Lowe right here, and we want to understand why he has such a sharp decline in software revenue. So in the revenue won by manager and product category chart, which is this one right here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to see that this chart, first of all, is divided into 4 different cluster charts. We can see that we have computers, electronics, furniture, and then software. To analyze this data, we want to be able to go ahead and choose one of these specific products. So in this case, I want to go ahead and choose software for Spencer Lowe. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that. Once I click on that, you're going to be able to see the visualizations change for me again automatically. And the reason why we want to choose this one is because we can see that in this particular case here, that Anne is highly outperforming Spencer in this particular category. So we really want to understand why that's the case. Again, once we click onto that particular data right there, all the visuals are going to change with us. And the first thing that we notice that there's a sharp decline in revenue won in December in our line chart. So we can see from right here, if we hover over that area where that decline is happening, it gives us pretty much all of that information. We can also see the revenue summary, which gives us information here that says that at $332,300, October 2020 had the highest revenue won and was 88.7% higher than December, which had the lowest revenue won at 167,000. All right, so to understand why this is such a steep decline, we're going to go ahead and leverage the Analyze option to explore more of our results. So I want to go ahead and hover over again in that December area. I'm going to do a right click, and we're going to find Analyze. From there, we can go ahead and see that we have explained the decrease. It's going to give us some visualizations here, and it's going to show us that analysis of the 26.87% decrease in revenue from November to December. We can actually go ahead and keep scrolling down, and we can see more visualizations for that information as well. We can also see that when we have that for close, it has the most significant decrease among our pipeline steps. So we also can see that while this is being displayed, that the various contributions by pipeline steps with a notable decrease in the development step for December, as we can see here in this one that says number 2 right here. So with this new insight discovered in that there was a significant decrease in the ability to develop and close revenue for December, we can either explore more insights within our data by using the scroll bar, as I showed earlier, and we can go ahead and keep scrolling down. But for now, let's go ahead and let's exit out of this quick insights one. I'm just going to go ahead and click back onto my report there to return back to the page. Of course, with answering one question, there's always a new one that may arise. So we've also noticed that a significant and pleasantly unexpected surprise in revenue over the last 90 days in this particular category here. So we can dig into this more and report back ASAP to determine if we're back on track. So we can actually go ahead and select the last 90 days right here in our information to get all of that information there. So we notice that there's some visual indicators on our page in the line chart. So before we dive into what these indicators are, let's first read the first 2 paragraphs of our summary. So we see that April 2021 had the highest revenue and was 46.8% higher than May. And April had the highest revenue, followed by March and May. So April was a record-setting month. So if we actually hover over the furthest indicator on the right side of our chart, we're going to actually be able to display a summary. And we can see that we have the summary here for our April results. In the tooltips, there are several items listed, including revenue won, expected, minimum, and max values for a range, and this indicator in an anomaly, which has been automatically detected for us. All right, so if we actually go ahead and we select the April 25th anomaly indicator for possible explanation of why. So if we actually go ahead and click onto that, I have this new pane here that says anomalies right here on the side. Now we get information onto why this anomaly has occurred. All right, it's going to give us that summary that the revenue was unexpectedly high and above our expected range, and some explanations are followed below, with the first possible explanation to this question is that when the rating was hot revenue and it won, it was unusually high. This may have lifted the revenue won total. So with this possible explanation and the strength score of 46%, which is an insight that we can use when reporting back to our team, we'll be able to learn more about what a strength score is. You can actually hover over the icon where it says higher strength means that it has a greater impact. So we can go ahead and hover over that information there. And it says this shows the degree to which each value is correlated with the anomaly. Higher strength means that it has a greater impact. To analyze additional explanations, you can, of course, scroll down and expand each of those different explanations. Let's go ahead and collapse this once again. And we can say that we found some great insights and answered a lot of questions so far. So let's return our page back to its original state by selecting the reset to default option here at the top. It may have been subtle upon first inspection, but if we review the information of the revenue won by year and month line chart again, been utilizing the anomaly detection feature this whole entire time. So displayed in the lightly gray shaded area are our min and max ranges. And then if we hover over any of our data points in the line chart, those same tooltips are also available. All right, so since there are no anomalies detected, the visual indicators on our line chart are not displayed like they were before. So before we proceed, we want to once again highlight that whenever you use this in combination with others, such as the quick insights and smart narrative and anomaly detection all together, this is going to be a very powerful combination for detailed written explanations and discovering outliners when exploring interesting events in our data. All right, so one of the last things I do want to talk about here before we go ahead and end is the ability to actually ask questions. So you can see here that we have a question visualization chart here, and we can just simply type in certain things. So let's say, for example, we want to go ahead and put in something like close percent. We're going to get back some information there. It's going to give us a single value that is returned to us instantly. We can kind of go ahead and expand this quote unquote question to display results by month. So we can go ahead and say close percent by month. Let's go ahead and hit enter. And now you can see here now that we have a column chart here that's being displayed for us. In this particular case, maybe this column chart might not really be useful because it's very difficult to see where those changes have occurred from this data. So let's go ahead and add some more right here again by adding in a line chart. And now you can see that we have this line chart, which makes it a lot more visually appealing to us and easier for us to understand this data. And once again, if we go ahead and add in some more, let's say by manager, and there we go. So now we have our managers, Spencer Lowe and Ann Wheeler, and we can see all of that information right here in a line chart, which makes it a lot more visually understandable for us. All right, so let's go ahead and click on the X really quick. And then we want to go ahead and say something like bottom 5 revenue won by account. All right, so now it's going to give us the top 5 bottom revenue ones by account. And then if we go ahead and add in some more, we can say something like in a map. And once we add that short little section there where it says in a map, now we can see the visualization here has changed and gives us that map information. So the Q&A visual can also interact with other visuals on our page. So if we select any bubbles on this Q&A visual here, so let's say, for example, North America and Arizona here, now we can see some more information there and all of the visualizations on my page here change. If I need to share this out with anyone within my team, I can simply go ahead and choose where it says chat in Teams. And then I can go ahead and type in the name of a person. I'm going to go ahead and just use Alex here as an example. And just say something like great job and hit share. So now Alex is going to receive this link. And whenever he clicks on it, it's going to bring him right to this visualization here with all of the information that I want him to see. So the last thing that I do want to showcase is if we go ahead and click onto our edit button, we'll see here at the bottom that we have the ability to add in a new page. I want to go ahead and add in a new page and begin to build out a new visualization. So one of the easier things that we can do to add in a visualization, for example, let's say if I go ahead and I do a double click onto this page, it's going to automatically place this question box for me, or that Q&A visual icon. So let's say if we ask the question here and we put something like revenue won by account postal code. Now we can see that once we hit enter, it's going to give us all of the postal code information in this map. I can make this bigger or smaller, however I need it. And you're going to see that you have this icon right here where you can turn this Q&A result into a standard visual. So you don't necessarily have to really do too much. So I'm going to go ahead and click onto that. And now you can see that we have that revenue won by postal code. If we want to, we can go ahead and click outside of that visual, and we can add in something called a slicer. So if we go ahead and choose that slicer visual, so let me go ahead and find it really quickly, which is the one right here. From here, we can go ahead and add in information. So I want to go to accounts from my fields. And let's say I want to go ahead and put that industry information there. I can do that. And now I have all of this information right here available to me. So because we have a lot of industries, we want to provide the ability to easily search within our dropdown. So with the slicer selected, we can go ahead and click onto that ellipses where it says more options. And then we can go ahead and choose search. And now we have a search box right here for this slicer. So I can actually click onto that and I can begin to type in something like, for example, food. And now instead of having a million different things for industry, I have only the food industry data that I'm looking for, and I can choose between these three instead of those million different options that I had. I do want to take a pause here. That was the last information that I had to share with you. It's just how to build out these visualizations really quickly and easily. I think personally for me, the easiest thing I can do is actually just going ahead and doing a double click onto one of those blank areas, asking a question about the data, and then I get the visuals such as this map here that are given to me automatically. So I don't necessarily have to do much. This sample report is available for you inside of your Power BI space. So if you do want to kind of play around with it a little bit more and further, you can definitely go ahead and go into that Learn section, and you'll be able to utilize this Power BI template from right there inside of Learn. All right, so with that being said, I do want to say once again, thank you to everyone for coming out today. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope that you learned something new and interesting from this information, and have a great day.